Has First Take fallen behind Skip and Shannon? I think it has. I think Stephen A. I'm not going to say he made a mistake getting rid of Max Kellerman, right? I think what people got to understand, or at least from an outside view, have got to at least give grace to the people involved is if it's not working behind the scenes, if the chemistry isn't there, then you know what? You got to give the benefit of the doubt to the people that are there. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you should have gotten rid of Max, this, that, and the other. But it seems like First Take is trying to become more of literally Stephen A's show. And he already has one on ESPN called Stephen A's World. I believe it's on ESPN Plus. He literally already has his own like TV 30-minute show. But it seems like I understand he's the star of the show. Even with Max, he is the quote unquote star. But it seems like he's trying to create a roster on First Take where he's trying to get that LeBron on Cleveland type of credit. Gosh, it already sounds like a First Take or Undisputed topic where they're trying to compare LeBron because it's all they fucking talk about now. But it seems like he went from having really reliable co-stars, people that bring the better versions out of himself, or keep him in check, or people that, even though we know you get paid the most, we know you're the face of the show, we make the show, entertaining and bearable. And it seems like now he's trying to get that LeBron on Cleveland credit, where he gets all the credit when they win, and if they lose, it's everyone else's fault. But the reality is, the reason why now you don't have a reliable number 2 or number 3 is because you literally got rid of them. And you wanted the show like this, so it is literally around you. Which is fine if you want your own radio show, you want your own TV show. I'm not going to be the one that tells Stephen A. what he should or shouldn't want. But for a debate show, having a rotation of people, which is what they're doing now, having Monday where they have Michael Irvin come for football, which basically for 80% of the show they're just going to talk about the Cowboys, which is so fucking annoying, which is one of the reasons that I kind of stopped watching these debate shows. Undisputed has cut down on it a little bit, but it's still like, Jesus fucking Christ. Is Dak Prescott a top 13 quarterback? It's like, well, he leads the league in passing. Yeah, but it's like, all right, whatever. But then he has a rotation of people, I believe, like Marcus Spears, Bart Scott, and they'll just have whoever during the week. And then on Friday, they have Tim Tebow, which is ironic that now one of the people you have as a co-host is the same person that you like shitting on for 7 years when Skip was there, when you guys talked about Tebow. Tebow literally, ironically, which I guess maybe that's why he deserves a spot on the show, because he literally was like the central topic for like 4 straight years on that fucking show. And I love Tebow, but Jesus Christ, that shit got annoying. And I think more importantly of all that, not everyone wants to come to a show that involves multiple people. They don't come for one person. They come for the dynamic. They come for the chemistry, which in his words is why him and Max didn't work no longer. The chemistry wasn't there based off quote unquote the feedback from the audience, which I don't remember in the comment sections there being anyone like, Max needs to leave the show. I don't think that was ever really the issue with the show. People more mad about Molly than him. But Max will be the scapegoat, which is fine. Max hasn't come out publicly and negatively said anything about Stephen A. But Stephen A. just keeps talking. Yep, Max had to go. It was what's best for the show and this and that. I'm trying to make the show bigger and better. It's like, So having a rotation of guests where you have no chemistry, where you build no chemistry, and it's just regurgitated topics. It's predictable. It kind of boring. And I think the reality is that Skip and Shannon has the consistency over the past 5 or 6 years has overtaken First Take. Because if we want to go by, I'll just say from my personal experience, right? On YouTube, anytime it's typically on like during the weekday. If I go on YouTube around noon or 1, the show ended like around 11 or noon. Whenever those shows, they typically end around the same time. Then they start putting the clips out on YouTube of their takes and stuff. 90% of the time, I ain't going to click on a Skip and Shannon clip or take over First Take. And I think because even there's a combination one, because I believe Shannon is way more entertaining personally. I think his analogies, he has created a genuine, relatable person, which I think some Stephen A, because he lets you know he's the face of ESPN, which is fine. But I think if Shannon had his own show, which he kind of does, has his own podcast, I genuinely think Shannon Sharp would be a better individual show than Stephen A. And I think the numbers prove that, because I don't think Stephen A's World Show on ESPN Plus doesn't get as much traffic as other shows do. I really think Stephen A, yes, is he the face of ESPN? Is he the face of First Take? Of course. No one's going to sit here and dispute that. No one's going to dispute his value to his company. I do think one thing that's ironic is that he would be against, because I'm only going to use this as a reference, because they want to always, this is why I hate when people try to compare sports business and things that happen in sports, and they try to relate them to real life jobs and businesses, because let me tell you, we just have to accept they don't. Things that happen in a locker room in the NFL, NBA, wouldn't be able to happen in a regular workplace. They just wouldn't. Things that happen on the court wouldn't be able to happen at your job. They just wouldn't. And that's okay. And that's why I'm going to use this example when I say he would shit on players, we'll just say NBA players, he would shit on NBA players for feeling like they should have a say in personnel decisions. He gives the exception to LeBron, but every other player, he would not think, for example, that Julius Randle should have a high voice in the New York Knicks organization, or even a higher player. He would say personnel needs to do their job, general managers do theirs. He would say like Luka Doncic, Trae Young shouldn't have a say in their front office. That's what management's for. But yet, him as a player or an employee, as he would always like to use the reference to, he basically made the decision to have someone off of his show when ESPN's in charge of personnel, and then maybe why would he feel that he has a right to kick someone off a show that is very good at that show, objectively? Is it because he literally wanted someone off a show, from the looks of it, because I feel like he was tired of getting roasted online of how Max's takes were not emotional. Max is a definition. We live in this culture. We live in this phenomenon of facts over feelings. You know, the Ben Shapiro thing, facts over feelings. But yet, in entertainment and debate shows and sports, apparently, we choose emotion over facts, right? But on the more serious subjects, when Max would really, I think Max really thrived on really serious subjects, right? Like just real life situation, not even really anything sports specific, but when real life shit would come up and they would talk about sports or politics. Whether you agree to disagree with him, he could go way more in whether it's history, data, analytical references to really keep on a very complex issue to keep a audience member, to keep a consumer engaged in the situation where even if you're not interested in what they're talking about, you're interested in what that person has to say. And when debate shows become predictable, where you can literally predict what someone's going to say on something, and that's normal. Like if you watch them long enough, you kind of know what someone's going to kind of say. But if they never at least bring a nuance idea to a subject or something, then it just kind of gets like, all right, like you're basically watching the same thing every day. And I think where Skip and Shannon have thrived is that even when they talk about the Cowboys, even when they talk about Brady for the 100th time, even when they talk about LeBron for the 50th time in that week, they both complement each other well because Skip, they built a chemistry where they know he knows anything with LeBron. Skip is going to be against whatever is LeBron's doing or has done. And Shannon just has to kind of balance it out and point him out on his hypocrisies and contradictions. Instead of feeding in, oh, well, I mean, but when he lost this, you said this, but then when this player does it, it's okay. Okay. And then but they built a chemistry where it works, even when it's just the same nonsensical topics. It works because Shannon, I believe, if you watch, if just look up like the first episode on Undisputed, watch the growth from Shannon from that episode and just the confidence and in his comfort zone he's in now, where more of his self can come out and he doesn't look like uptight. He's not worried about when he's speaking. Like people forget, like when Undisputed first started, like Shannon really had a hard time, like just speaking where fluently. Like it seemed like it looked like he kind of like struggled with some type of speech impediment. Maybe it was nervousness being on TV and stuff. And once he got in his comfort zone and became more confident in what he was doing, you could see that's when he popped. In relation, I think it's the same thing that's happening on Speak for Yourself with Emmanuel Acho. He's my favorite. He has become my favorite thing to hear from anything in sports. No matter what the subject is. On the show Speak for Yourself on Fox Sports, and I'm only going to bring this up because it's kind of Speak for Yourself is kind of like a debate with him and Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley is like the Brett Favre. He's the veteran of the show. And Emmanuel Acho is like this young buck, like Aaron Rodgers. They see this guy in practice, like, holy fuck, this guy's good. But hey, we're gonna taparoo you into this slowly, but you're gonna thrive even in practice. And then now we see he's thriving off in all aspects. Like he's really, to me, I think Speak for Yourself and Skip to Shannon is way better than First Take now. And you can even go, I put it in context like this. I think if ESPN were to be able to they were able to trade for Emmanuel Acho again, because he did work at ESPN, but it didn't end great. Well, actually, now I think about that wouldn't work because ESPN literally told Emmanuel Acho to his face. I remember listening to a show or a podcast with him. They literally said to his face like, yeah, we think you're good, but we don't think you could ever be a star. We don't, because he was trying to get on bigger shows on the network, and they're just basically telling him, yeah, we don't think you have it. Oh, we don't think, we think you're making good progress, but we just don't think we don't think you're that guy, pal. And he's turned out to be that guy. And here's why I think First Take is a resemblance of what sports debate media has become. The substance in debate shows has been dwindled down by the entertainment value so much that it makes you feel like you're watching more of a theatrical thing than actual thing. If that even makes any fucking sense. Because it seems like First Take, one of the criticisms was First Take, they're basically trying to make it like the show Get Up, which the show Get Up in the morning at ESPN to me is not that interesting or fun of a show. You catch clips here once in a while, but it seems like on Get Up, they're trying to just, become the most hot take type of thing. But it's not even like a believable hot takes. They're just regurgitating. It's either like extremely boring or extremely just complete out there. And there's not really any deeper breakdown or knowledge most of the time. And I think First Take has kind of become, it's not even like a debate show. I remember last week it was just Steven, like they did an interview over Zoom with someone. Oh, he did it with Mike Tomlin, I believe. I could be wrong, but he did it with like a coach or something. And it was just Stephen A interviewing them. It didn't even feel like that type of dynamic where you would have a second host ask some questions that may have an opposing view or a different type of question from a different perspective. And it's just Stephen A just asking bland questions. Nothing nuanced, nothing interesting. And I feel like the biggest issue with First Take now is just simply that there's not really any reason to want to watch it. It's just when someone's trying to make a show about them, but the success of what makes debating work is the dynamic of chemistry. But you can't create chemistry when you have different people every day. It's just basically, I think what he's trying to just prove the point is, I can do this with anyone. Who does it with me doesn't matter because I'm the reason this show works. Which is a fine point of view to have of yourself or confidence of yourself. But from a consumer, I don't want to, no one watches these debate shows when guests are involved. Because the guest is never, even if it's with one of the other co-hosts, the show's never as good. The guest is either apprehensive or you tell like they didn't prepare because it could have been last minute or it's just not something they do regularly. And doing debate shows and chemistry with someone, there's a consistency quality that's to it. And they're just never good. It's like listening to your favorite radio host and then they have a guest host that day. 98% of the time, you're not even going to listen to 5 minutes of that because it's not the same show. You have bought into who's in the show, not the title. And I guess the question is, does anyone really want to listen to Stephen A by himself? Has he become too intimidated by having someone of equal value or someone of equal intellect of him across the table? Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you think. I think Skip and Shannon have completely passed First Take. I think First Take has really become a bottom of the barrel show. I almost never watch or listen to any of it now. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Hope you enjoy the clip. Go check out the Off and Beat podcast.